Welcome back to Banfield. When Putin's army made its way across the border from Belarus to Ukraine, the military leaders were carrying a list of targets that they wanted. And near the top of that list was Chernobyl. Most people know it as the site of the world's worst nuclear disaster, but it is also one of Ukraine's most popular destinations for tourists. So why would Putin want Chernobyl? And what would he want with it? I am joined by Amir Weiner. He is an associate professor of history at Stanford University. And Victoria Vil-Chin is a Chernobyl tour guide who was just there just days before the Russians took over the plant. Amir, I'm going to begin with you if I can. What would Putin want with Chernobyl?
In terms of nuclear capabilities, all the reactors have been decommissioned since 2000, but Chernobyl sits on a strategic location close to the Belarusian border, which is one of the launching pads for the invasion into Ukraine, a corridor to the Dnipro River, and of course a key route to Kiev, the capital of Ukraine.
So I missed the top of what you said, but I was so curious about the strategic aspect of the location of Chernobyl versus the fact that there's so much radioactive waste there. And that's usually what people get worried about. What does he plan to do, if anything, with that? Can you make sense of that?
Basically nothing. The main thing is that it has nothing to offer because everything is decommissioned and not operational. But the main thing, of course, that worries everyone is that a mistake, that a direct hit on any of the nuclear plants in Ukraine, but certainly it doesn't seem to be so far the case there. There's something probably symbolic to this capture of Chernobyl as a famous Ukrainian site. It was a most famous and probably the first one to be captured by the invading Russians. Other than that, it's simply because of its location.
Now, Victoria, I want to show some of the pictures that you filmed yourself. Gosh, I see some of these pictures of old shoes, of children's shoes, and I still can't believe it's been so long. But I want to show some of the pictures that you filmed of yourself with a Geiger counter, walking around, sort of right within the area of the plant. Let's roll those, and I'm going to ask you something about it afterwards. So the thing I didn't know, and I'm embarrassed to say it, Victoria, is that there were tours and that it was a huge aspect of tourism for Ukraine, for people to go and visit Chernobyl. I didn't think you could get within eye shot of the place, but you've been there. I have so many questions for you. I'm going to start with this. Did you have a warning to get out of there in time before the Russians took it?
First of all, I visited Chernobyl last time on the 16th of February. And at that stage, there was nothing happening. So I never got any warning just to leave the area.
Then the next question I have is, how safe is it there? I assumed that anywhere near that sarcophagus is a no-go zone, but the Russians have it now, and you've been there. So how safe is it to be near that reactor?
All depends on how much time you spend near the reactor. Generally speaking, when you visit the Chernobyl exclusion zone or when you visit the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, you have a specific time that you are allowed to stay at the specific areas, and it might be dangerous in terms of staying in the Chernobyl exclusion zone for a long time. However, all the routes for tourists are absolutely safe. The thing is that you need to be aware of these routes. Us as tour guides, we are trained. We have a lot of exams in order to provide safe tours. And unfortunately, without knowing this information, you will not be able to stay safe in the Chernobyl exclusion zone because to present days, this is the site of the nuclear disaster.
Yeah, well, when I heard that the radiation levels were up, I worried, and then I read that it was because possibly the activity of the military vehicles stirring up some of the soil. I'd like to have both of you back. Something tells me it's not the last we've heard about troops at Chernobyl. So Amir, Weiner, and Victoria Vil-Chin, Skaya, thank you both. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.